What is creativity? How important role does imagination and intuition play in producing creative works? And is it always necessary that creativity means we have to produce something new? Well, these are a few questions which you'll get answer by the end of this video. Now let's get started by answering the first question, and that is, what is creativity? Now, creativity in simple terms means that to produce something which is unique and useful. But at the same time, creativity is not always producing something new from the scratch. And it's about combining smaller ideas into one and producing an usable output that has not been done previously. Now, the first and foremost thing to unleash this creativity is to tap into our imaginations, dreams, and thoughts. And by doing that, we'll be able to get into that creativity zone. Now, this creativity applies to various fields like business people, scientists, artists. Now, we'll look into an example. Have you ever wondered the number of vehicles that are being manufactured each day and how fast they are made? Well, in spite of this global pandemic, in the year 2021 alone, 66.7 million automobile units have been produced globally. This wouldn't have been possible without the creative mind of Henry Ford. Wait, how does Henry Ford, who lived in the 20th century, has an impact on this? Well, to answer this question, we need to go back in time. It was early 20th century. Henry Ford, as we know, who's the founder of Ford Motor Company, he felt there was a big consumer market for automobiles. But the men in his factory took 12.5 hours to manufacture a single automobile unit. He was not satisfied with this because the need for automobiles were really high, but they were not able to manufacture those many. One day, trying to think of ways to improve the production speed, Ford watched his men at work. He saw people who fixed the engines came along with their tools and completed their part of work, and then the next teams of people who fixed the other parts came along. Now, as this was happening, Ford was not thinking like a conventional person who would want to improve the process by improvising the tools that were being used by the workers to fix the parts, or how to get the men to move faster or to increase the number of workers. Instead, he imagined completely different. In his mind, he visualized the cars moving and the men standing still, where each team of workers did their portion of work as the cars moved from one position to another. Within days, he tried this idea. By the time this process was completely structured, the Ford Motor Company was able to produce one single car in just 90 minutes. Now, there was a mammoth reduction of 11 hours per car produced. Now, an important outcome of this was the prices of the cars dropped drastically, which meant that people from various classes were able to buy a car. Now, as you could see here, Henry Ford saw things from a different perspective, and he used his imagination to see what would be the outcome of that. And this imagination and visualization, my friends, is most important in producing creative works. Now, as I've said earlier, creativity does not always necessarily mean that you have to begin something from the scratch. So one of the best examples I could give is an iPhone, which was produced by Steve Jobs and his team at Apple. What is an iPhone? Well, everyone knows that it is a smartphone. In simple terms, we could say it is many small devices combined together as one single device. And Steve Jobs, in the launch of iPhone, he would go on to say,
3 things: a widescreen iPod with touch controls, a revolutionary mobile phone, and a breakthrough internet communications device. An iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator. An iPod, a phone. Are you getting it? These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device. and we are calling it iPhone. Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone.
Each and every one of us has the ability to be creative, and some get into that creativity phase pretty quick, and for some it might take some time, but with consistent efforts and letting your imaginations and intuition guide you, you'll reach that place for sure. And to conclude this video, I'd like to say a quote by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and which is, when learning is purposeful, creativity blossoms. When creativity blossoms, thinking emanates, and when thinking emanates, knowledge is fully lit, and when knowledge is fully lit, the economy flourishes. Thank you guys. See you around.